Are you looking for an easy, engaging way to teach French vocabulary while reinforcing phonemic awareness, spelling rules, and encoding skills? Hi, I'm Andrea, and if that sounds like you, this is the video for you. Let me show you how the Mot du Jour routine has transformed my students' learning all in 10 minutes or less each day. The Mot du Jour routine is a simple, low-prep activity designed to teach one new French vocabulary word each day. The word is generally thematic or relevant to the time of year, but it's also so much more than just learning what the word is in French. It's an opportunity to build phonemic awareness, teach spelling rules, and practice encoding, all in a fun and interactive way. So we're taking learning a new word in French and really bringing it up to the next level to learn not just about the word, but the spelling of the word, the sounds in the words, and all of that. So I'm going to show you the resource. I'm going to show you what a typical Mot du Jour session looks like in my classroom, and stick around so at the end of the video, I'll let you know how you can grab a free sample of Mot du Jour to try in your own classroom. All right, so here's a peek at what the resource looks like on TPT. I have one set for each month. We're gonna look at the January one today. I have a kind of bonus set for food words, and then I have a bundle of all of them together that you can grab at a discount. I also have a mini speaking and listening membership, and these resources are included there, so there's one that trips out each month of that membership as well. When you download your copy, you're going to find two parts, and both of these parts are essential for your students to be really engaged and really successful with this resource. The first part is a slideshow, and the second part are these student pages where students are going to write the word, not copy the word, but write the word one sound at a time. There's two printing versions here. I always use this one, so that's the one I'm going to show you in the video. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do when you open it is choose which words you actually want to teach your students this month. So each of the set comes with 25 different words, but we generally only teach 20 max days per month. So what I always do is I grab my planner. It has a calendar page. I count out how many days I'll be teaching that month, and then I will choose a word and I'll just kind of jot it down on each day so I know what the plan is, and then I will delete any of the words that I'm not going to do. The fun thing about these is that they are also editable. So if you don't want to use the word manchot and you say penguin or whatever, you can switch any of the words here and use the vocabulary that is correct for your region. When you make the changes, it only changes on your version. If you ever want a fresh version that has no changes, you're going to go back and make another copy of the version that's inside the PDF when you download. So once I've chosen my 25 words and deleted the extra slides, I actually like to take this one and duplicate it all throughout the month so that I don't have to scroll back and forth each day. When I present this to my students, I just present that slide, and then I hit the next arrow, and that's our Mot du Jour. The next day I hit the next arrow and we're ready to go, and I hit it again. So that's up to you if you want to duplicate this one. I just find it saves me time in the morning and I'm not scrolling around. And if you want to do one of these phonological awareness games at the end, you're gonna grab whichever slide you want to do each day. I like to rotate through all 5 of them. So these are editable as well. So say I was doing this one, I'd come back and I'd say, okay, patin, we're gonna do with that, D, and then I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna make it say patin, mais ne dis pas le son, un, qu'est-ce qui reste, pat, est-ce que c'est un vrai mot ou un mot sans sens? So then your students are kind of playing with the sounds in the words, and you can easily switch which game you wanna do each day. Again, I did copy. So I like to copy and paste them. I just wanted to make sure that's what I did, so that I always have the originals here at the bottom. Again, you could do di patin, mais ne dis pas peu, dis satin, est-ce que c'est un vrai mot ou un mot sans sens, etc. So there's a bunch of different options there. You don't have to do them either if you do phonological awareness elsewhere in your day and you don't have time to add that in. Don't worry about it, but they're there for you if you want, and I do add them in. This is kind of like my front-loading prep. I prep the whole month at a time, and I pop the slides in where I want them for the whole month ahead of time. And then I also come over here and I print the pages that I'm going to need for just the words that I need. So I will write down the page numbers of each of the words I'm going to do. I print them. If I have 20 students, then I need 5 copies of each page because there's 4 of these per page. I print them out, I cut them up, and I put little paper clips on them, and I put them in my drawer, and then I'm ready to go for the whole month after just one block of prepping. My preps are 30 minutes, and I can usually get the whole month done and prepped in one prep, and then that is off of my to-do list for the rest of the month. So when it comes to the actual routine, what I do when my students come in, I do this pretty much first thing in the morning. I do my phonological awareness slides first that were in my video last week, and then I jump into this. So I have this slide ready to go. I present it up here, and then I ask my students to guess. I'll give them a hint, usually like, oh, it's a winter word, or like, oh, it starts with this sound or ends with this sound or whatever. And then I have my students guess what they think it is. I do table points. So when someone asks in a complete sentence, est-ce que le mot du jour est whatever, I give them 2 points. If they just say the new vocabulary, like a vocabulary word in English or in French that they think it is, I give them 1 point. If they say in English, I give them no points for their table, and they love guessing what they think the word will be. When somebody gets it, I sometimes have to give really obvious clues, but when somebody gets it, then I flip to the next slide and we're ready to go. So I'm going to pick a shorter word just for this video. So we'll do patin. And once they guess it, the way that I present it is my thingy that I pulled down the screen has like a black bar at the bottom. So it lines up perfectly for me. So my students can't see how to spell the word because it's hidden in the black bar on the bottom of my screen, because I do not want my students to copy the word. We do not copy the word. We write it together one sound at a time. And that's really, really important if you want your students to retain and remember what the mot du jour actually is, as well as start using and applying important French spelling rules. I see a huge transfer in my students' writing, especially for my more advanced students, based on the rules that I teach them during mot du jour, the spelling rules and the sounds and the way we write the sounds. I see a huge transfer in their own writing because we do this day after day after day after day, and we talk about it day after day after day after day. And those students who are ready really apply this to their own writing, and I love that. So I show them the slide, but like we just pretend that you can't see how to spell the word. I'll take it off there. You can just take it off too if you want to, if you have students who are going to copy the word, because we really do not want them just copying without thinking about the sounds that make up the word. And then I pass out the student page for everybody. So everybody gets one of these. I give them 2 minutes, and I put the timer. I give them 2 minutes to color it however they want to color it, and then we all come back together to write it. I write it on the whiteboard. My students write it on their own sheet using a pencil. And how I do that is first we count out how many sounds are in the word. So how many sounds are in the word patin? Patin, cat. So then I'll put like 4 little, I have circular magnets that are actually from like a 10 frame magnet kit. So I'll put 4 of the circles on the board because we know that we need to write 4 sounds. Does that mean that there's 4 letters? Absolutely not, but there are 4 sounds. So then we say, what's the first sound in the word? P, p, p. And then I'll ask them like, comment est-ce qu'on écrit le son P? And then hopefully they'll say avec un P. And then we'll write the letter P. So in the beginning of the year, I do write them on the board because I want to make sure that they are following correct letter formation. In first grade, we don't work maybe as much on letter formation. Like we don't have as much time to dedicate to it as I had when I was in maternelle. So this is another area where I sneak that practice in. So I am kind of strict and I really want them to write the letters correctly. We write all lowercase. This is an argument I have with my students every year because I want to start with a majuscule, but we don't start with a majuscule because it's not a sentence, and we don't add a period at the end because it's not a sentence. Later in the year, obviously, we talk about what a sentence is, but I actually just realized I forgot that we start with the article. So I'll ask them, I'll say un patin. Are we writing un or in? They'll say un. I'll say how many letters are in the word un, and then I ask them to write that one from memory because un is not a word that we can sound out. Un, we could sound out u, n, and then what letter do we add at the end to make the n talk? An so we will sound that one out, but un, we have to memorize it. So we work on memorizing it at this time, and I have my students write it down. Then we'll go, how many sounds are in patin? 4 sounds. What's the first sound? P. We'll write the P with a long tail and the circle in the correct direction. Then I ask them, I'll check off like the first little circle, and I'm like, okay, quel est le deuxième son? Comment est-ce qu'on écrit le son ah avec un ah, and then we keep going, and then So there's actually quite a few ways to write the sound We do use raconte-moi les sons. So we have like all the sound posters up, and my students know, because like when we do in the video that goes with it, there are like 4 or 5 different ways to write the sound So then I will ask them, okay, which one is the most common way to write the sound and then I'll tell them if they are correct or not correct, or maybe somebody already knows because they've seen it in a book, but I will give them the help to make sure that they write the correct or if there's, a different way, a different sound where there's more than one way to write it. I write down at the top of the board all of the ways to write that sound, and I get my students to shout it out for me, all the ways to write that sound, and then I will circle the correct way and write it down below, because it's really important for them to remember there's lots of different ways to write sounds, and I say to them, if you use the wrong sound in your own writing, am I going to be mad at you? Absolutely not. It takes lots of practice reading and writing before you will be able to use the correct sound in your writing. So years and years of practice, don't worry about it. I will be happy that you wrote the correct sound. I will just circle it for you and let you know to try a different sound in your own writing. So then we've got the whole word written, and at that time, I get my students to glue it into there. They have like a Hilroy notebook scribbler thing. It fits 4 of those per page, so they glue it in. I get them to put it in their agenda bag because they take them home to show their parents and review with their parents. I'm not sure how many of them actually review with their parents, but I do my part. I send it home, and there it is. The other one I wanted to kind of point out is when we get to a word like flocon de neige, for example, and then I'll say, comment est-ce qu'on écrit le son j, and they will say J or G. So if we put a G at the end, I'll ask them, what does it say now? Does it say neige? And they'll say no. Hopefully they'll say no, it says neg. And then I'll ask them, okay, what letter do we have to put after a G to make it say zh? So you can kind of see how these spelling words and these phonics rules for the French language come into play when we do Mot du Jour every day and we come with words like this. So in the classroom, I might not get to this sound until later in the year, or the spelling rule till later in the year, and then it's kind of like a short compact lesson, mini lesson, and then we move on and like don't revisit it as much. But when it's coming up almost every day that like we have these words where like glass, if we put just a C at the end, it's glack. So how do we make the C say S? We have to put an E after it, and then it says glass. Like all these little things where, we add an E to make the consonant talk. We can't end a word with the letter H in French. Like all these little things like that. If we don't put an E at the end of mitin, it's mitin. If we don't put an E at the end of mitaine, it becomes mitin. So to make the N talk, we have to put the E to make mitaine. So all of these little things that we talk about day in and day out, like you can see just in this slideshow, like how many new sounds that normally like I wouldn't introduce the sound until almost the end of grade 1 if we get to it. Same as this sound, but like they come up in the words. It exposes my students to these sounds a little bit. The students that are ready can really take off. We learned about like plural. It hides both your ears, so we add the S to the end. There's not just one glass on here, there's a bunch, so we put an S at the end. This C, if we didn't put the CD, it would say glacon. Like just all these little things, Q and U always go together, that, oh, this is a silent letter at the end. Is there any way for you to know what silent letter it is without memorizing? Probably not, but like I'm going to tell you what it is now. Here, you double the consonant and add an E at the end. Like there's just so many rules and so many things like O. Usually if it's O at the end of the word, not always, but almost always, if it's O at the end of a multi-syllable word, we're going to use a, u. Like there's just so many rules that we can use with our students and expose them to and teach to them so that the students whose brains are ready can fly with that, and you will see them adding it to their own writing. So in this way, we aren't holding anybody back by like not introducing, the sound sh until maybe like March or something, because like, look, we've talked about it in January a little bit. Like, no, I'm not spending the whole week on the sound this week, but you see it, you know what it is, the poster's up on the wall, we've written this word. My students who are, my high flyers are going to remember that, and they're going to use it in their own writing, and they're going to fly. We still have other structured targeted practices and small groups and things like that for my students who aren't quite there yet, but we are exposing them, we're repeating it over and over, and they are really going to have a more solid base for spellings and phonics rules in French when we are doing this kind of spiral review every single day of the school year. So as I said, this routine has been an absolute game changer in my first grade classroom. I noticed better retention of vocabulary, improved phonemic awareness, and students applying spelling rules in their independent writing, as I already said. Even students who already knew the words orally before, like we learned them as Mot du Jour, benefit because they get valuable practice with sounds and encoding. If you're ready to bring Mot du Jour into your classroom, this resource is available in my TPT store, as I shared at the beginning of the video. You can search Mot du Jour, you can search vocabulary. There's those custom categories on the left. It's under the vocabulary one, and it's low prep, it's completely editable and ready to use. But to make it even easier for you, I've got a free sample that you can try out and see if it fits well in your classroom and in your daily routine before you commit to buying. It's the perfect way to see and try before you buy, and you can just click the link down below to sign up to get your copy emailed directly into your inbox. I'll also pop the TPT link down there too, but if you are looking for more than just Mot du Jour and you really want to spice up your whole oral communication block or routine, I do have my mini membership that it's new as of the time of this video. It's new, but it contains 4, I think, resources a month, maybe 3 resources a month, I forget, all for speaking and listening, and this is one of those resources. And if you're considering adding Mot du Jour to your classroom, you'll get the Mot du Jour sets every single month, plus the additional resources that complement this routine and will help you build an even stronger oral communication block. Honestly, it's the best bang for your buck. You get Mot du Jour every single month, you get a chant every single month, you get some vocabulary cards, and then there's usually like a 4th bonus resource, so there are 4 resources. And you can stay tuned for some upcoming videos because on my channel, I'm going to show some more resources included. In January, I'm really doing a big focus on speaking and listening, so I will talk more about the pieces to my routine, the resources that I use, the things inside of the membership, freebies that I have that will make your life easier, and all of that. Probably I'll go into February with that as well because I just have so many things to share about speaking and listening. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more ideas and resources, especially if you want more help with communication orale over the next couple of months. I would love to hear any of your thoughts or any of your questions. Drop some comments below for me because again, this channel is new and I would love to know more about what you want to know and ways that I can help you enjoy teaching more. All right, bonne journée, and I'll see you next week.